welcome to My Mini Addiction. If you're new to my channel, I make and paint miniatures and terrain for tabletop gaming. And in this video, I'm doing something a little bit different. A couple of months ago, I asked my viewers to vote for a project. This is going to be a special project. I have lots of things that I've started over the years and then never quite completed, or I didn't exactly like how it was turning out, and so things kind of get set aside. So I took several different terrain projects and I let people vote which one to finish or kind of revamp, and what got chosen was the fish market. Now 3 years ago I 3D printed a whole fishing village, so it had several houses, a blacksmith, a tavern, and all these buildings are all on docks, and they're all connected through, a series of different docks, and you could set up. And the centerpiece of this village was this fish market that, was pretty good size, but lots of small pieces. And I had just taken the market and, just for simplicity's sake and storage, I decided to just glue everything down onto a piece of poster board. Then I could pick it up and move it, and that made it nice and easy to use. And then at that point, once the whole village was done, it got put in a cabinet. And every once in a while, pull it out and go, hey, look at this. But, didn't really do anything with it. So I've been wanting to do something, and so you guys voted for the fish market. So I went through and I filmed footage of, what I did to make it better. And, I started going in one direction, and, a couple days in, I totally changed my mind and went somewhere else. So I will let you guys kind of watch through. I will, walk you through what I'm doing and the whole process, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Here is a look at what I started with the fish market. So I originally had glued all the parts onto this piece of foam board because there was, all these different stalls came in individual pieces, and then so they had the dock underneath the stall, the canopy on top, and of course all of the fish. So it was kind of a lot of work to move it, and that's where I'm like, I'm just going to glue it on this poster board, and then I'm able to, store it and pull it out nice and easy. And then what I thought, this was maybe about a year ago or so, is when I first was thinking of kind of fixing up, the fish market. And I had started gluing some rocks, and then I was gluing sand. And my original intention was, this is just white sand. I get it at the Dollar Tree, and I use it a lot of times for basing. I glue it down, and then I paint it. And that was what the original intention was. So the first thing I do here is, I trim it down some because I didn't need the, full piece of foam board, because that was, kind of a big awkward square, and it didn't work, that great when I'm, attaching docks to this and setting up, the whole fishing village. And a lot of the sand was, I had put glue on it and then never sealed it down, so it was really pretty loose. And so first thing I wanted to do here is I took scenic glue and was just going to glue, more sand down all the way around, trying to get underneath, the dock and all the way around. I still wasn't exactly sure what I wanted the final product to look like at this time, so I just continued on where I had started. And so it was just a lot of, glue and trying to get brushes, trying to get it underneath, the dock, and, getting the sand to fit, and, still fully intentioning to paint over everything. And so here we got this last bit of sand in, and then I took scenic cement and poured it over and kind of, used the brush to get up underneath. So once the scenic glue was dry, then this really just kind of seals everything. And then that way, the sand doesn't get knocked off, and it makes it a lot easier if I am going to paint over it, because it really makes a nice seal and it cements it in place. So it is aptly named scenic cement for sure. And so takes a little bit of time to get up underneath, but this one is actually pretty, there's a very fluid, so it's easy to pour as well. At this point I decided, you know what, I didn't need it to be this big, and I wanted to cut it down a little bit more, just because I still at this point not quite sure, what I want to do. So trimmed it down a little bit more. It's kind of rough, but it works fine. And at that point, then I ended up kind of just gluing some more around the edge to hold the paper down. And then at this point, I'm thinking I can't really get a paintbrush that easily under, the docks. So once again, I was using scenic cement, so very liquid, and I'm able to pour it and kind of roll it around a little bit. And I have some actual dirt. This is from my yard, actually from a molehill. I live near a river, and the dirt in my yard is really sandy, and whenever the moles come through, they tear it up and they just make this fine silt. And I will actually go scoop a bunch, and I keep it, collect it in like a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll sift through it and try to get out the fine dirt, get rid of any weird stuff that might be mixed in. And I do utilize this a lot for basing. So what I started here, at this point, I decided dirt everywhere, but I needed, something easy under the dock where I couldn't paint. And I kind of liked the idea of maybe putting dirt under the whole thing. And that's what I ended up doing at this point. And then I'm like, well, if I've got real dirt, I need real sticks. So I get in my stick bucket. And these are just sticks and moss that I have collected in the woods in the area. And I was trying to create a look of fallen logs. And so that's where I was going through finding, some sticks that I thought could look like deadfall, and was just going to kind of place them around the market, trying to think of maybe create a environment that was kind of like a wetlands. Where I live in the Pacific Northwest, you would find this along, the river here, or something where, logs have fallen down. There's, it's kind of wet, and lots of, different plants are all over the place. And so at this point, all that work I did with the sand was for naught, because I'm like, I am not going to do any more painting. I want to add a lot of realistic touches. And so from this point on, I'm adding, the sticks, and then I start taking various types of moss and lichen that I've collected, and start adding that and trying to create the feel of, these are, actual plants that are growing in this wetland area. And these are all things that, I've just got when I go in the woods here. My family thinks I'm crazy. I, wander off with a sack and then come back with sticks and leaves and moss and all this stuff. And, but it works great. And, this little piece of moss here looks like it's a big bush, on this, the scale here. So I kind of had fun just adding a bunch of random moss and sticks. And then I felt I needed some more rocks. So here I'm actually starting off with some small aquarium rocks that, are nice, kind of polished, and was thinking that, river rocks are kind of smooth. I mean, this isn't a river, this would be, standing water, but I was going to add, a bunch of those, and then start adding some other bigger rocks. Now, these are ones, I have buckets of rocks all over too. Ones that I've collected outside, or it's funny, is I actually pick up a lot of rocks and things from the Dollar Tree store. Now these, they usually have it in their section where they have like the floral arranging stuff, because they have rocks that are made to go in like flower vases. And you know what, they have some great rocks that I use a lot on terrain pieces or basing. Sometimes I leave them natural, sometimes I paint over them if I want them a different way. These ones I all left natural, so just kind of mixed up the aquarium rocks with some of the larger rocks. And at this point, I am planning on adding a little bit of resin to create a bit of a water effect. So the first thing I gotta do is I take some tape and I tape around the edges, and I'm going to, before I pour the resin, I want to create an edge. The foam is a bit rough, but that's okay. And what I actually start with is I take some UV resin and I just kind of create a little bit of a dam. And at first my UV flashlight wasn't curing fast enough, so I have a brighter light that I bring out. And so I go just make a fine bead of UV resin all the way around, just to make sure there's no gaps where when I pour the 2-part resin, none of that is going to leak out and make a big mess while it's curing. So I didn't film all of it because it took quite a while to go around and get all the edges all the way through with the UV resin, but it seemed to work well for what I needed. And then the next step is just mixing up the 2-part epoxy resin. I didn't get video of the pour because it was kind of awkward. I kept getting in the way of the camera as I poured it, but this was pretty much my last step. So after I poured it and kind of, worked it around, then, just a little bit cleanup on the edge. But here is the finished fish market after it's had its little makeover. So yeah, I think this looks a lot more complete than what I originally had, and now it really makes me want to go set up the entire fishing village, because I have tons of, or several, I think it's like 6 houses. There's a tavern, there's a blacksmith, there's shipwright, so there's a whole bunch of parts to this whole set, and you can actually download all these STLs on my mini factory. Fabio's the designer of this set. I really like his style and how he makes things, so I will put a link to where you can view this, or you can purchase this also. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this, the remodel of the fish market. And, I say thank you to the people that voted on this project, and I will let you guys know when I'm ready to do another video like this. Hey guys, thanks for watching my fish market makeover. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you guys want to see me do more videos like this, just let me know. Drop a comment below. Make sure to subscribe so that way you can keep up on what I'm doing. Every week I post a weekly vlog, and I talk about what I've painted or the projects I've been working on for that week. I've got some other 3D printing projects in the works, and I post time-lapse videos of me putting these together. I'm right now working on making a whole fantasy city. I hope to also take the entire fish market, not fish market, the whole fishing village that I made this market to go with, and put that all together and show you guys. So let me know what you would like to see in the future, and I'll see you next time.